Hi everyone, welcome to John Madden Football.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the 4th episode of the worst game ever, now with 100% more football. Yeah, fucking football. You know, Pork Chopper, I always wanted to start a podcast and start talking about football. I'm a huge fan of football. Football is my life. I have never not loved football, as you know. This is a common character trait of Kaznarius. Me, Kaznarius, the host, the lover of football. Football is great.
Okay.
Do you think this is a bit? Do you think this is a bit I'm doing? It's not. I love football.
Okay.
Football's rad, bro.
New. Okay.
And with me is the Pork Chopper.
Hello.
So, do you want to tell me about how much you love football? Because I think we should just devote this episode to football.
To be completely honest, I fucking hate football. It's a bunch of sweaty guys running around.
All right, so last episode, with 100% of the votes, we had Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was the worst game ever.
Makes sense.
I'm not entirely... Well, 100% of the votes evidently was one person who voted. But yeah, I fucking won. And I don't know if we should have some kind of stakes to this. Like, maybe the loser should fucking play the worst game ever. I don't know. We'll look into it.
All right.
Please, everyone, after you watch this, please go to my fucking Twitter, Kaznarius. The link will be in the description. Please vote. We need to constantly be at each other's throats about who's going to win each week, or whenever the fuck these things are released. Let's get straight into the comments.
Right, let's hear it.
Big one from Shanley LM.
Okay.
Huge fan of the show. She says, thanks for the ear bleed. That was your fucking mouth chewing. I always appreciate when somebody loves my ASMR. I always tend for these to be very ASMR driven, much like football is. I always like listening to ASMR football.
Oh.
Football is fantastic.
Okay.
What team were you rooting for in the Super Bowl? Just completely.
Oh, none of them.
All right. Well, Shanley LM also says the guy harassing Pork Chopper. What a massive fucking virgin / future serial killer.
Oh.
I see. I would agree with you. I would tend to agree with you, but I honestly think that entire scenario was absolutely hilarious. Please, if you want to shit on us, feel free to. We love reading it. I loved reading that. That was possibly my favorite section from the last episode. I actually have a bit of an aside to springboard off of that.
Okay.
Because last episode, the guy who was going after Pork Chopper, who followed him through the site and onto PSN and tried to further justify his attack on Pork Chopper's very fragile morale, he mentioned that he was going to tell us, he was going to report him to Black Bond, and this guy Black Bond, he's a YouTuber, shout out to Black Bond.
Yeah.
He was a YouTuber, and he said, you're gonna show up on one of his top 10 Nintendrome lists or some shit like that.
Yeah,
and I said, by the way, shout out to Black Bond. Well, wouldn't you know it, 4 hours after we fucking recorded that, Black Bond makes a I'm quitting YouTube stream. So maybe we're just like the fucking cancer of YouTube, where whoever we shout out is just going to have their channel nuked, or they're just going to quit it out of shame. I don't know. All jokes aside, I'm sure he's an actually nice guy, and it was a strange fucking coincidence that he just decided to end it. I was like halfway through making a video about it, and maybe I will next time. I might make a compilation of that fucking guy who fucking went in on you.
Yeah, why not?
That guy was something else. I love him.
Yeah.
She says Nicki Minaj will be in the next season with Kanye from a loot box. FF Brave Exvius. If it makes money, fuck it. Those odds are worse than Vegas. What else? It's kind of a long one. I'll try and get around it. We can't exclude men from events about equality and respect to Riot. That's literally the opposite of what they are going for. Also, I have given these assholes like over $1,000 and I can't leave because I'm a degenerate. And that is something that actually brought me back into the game because I also probably spent hundreds of dollars on skins.
Yeah.
Maybe not hundreds of dollars, but at least like up to $100.
Significant amount of money though, right?
And when you have like that much, like when you've devoted that much time and money into a thing, it's fucking hard to get out of.
Well, it's like any other investment, right? You want a return on your investment. You don't want that to just, go to shit, right? So,
well,
that makes sense.
If there's so I'm going to say it right now. If there's anyone out there, Shanley, LM, I know this is you too, but if you fucking emancipate yourself, there are just better games to play.
Absolutely.
Fucking play them. Stop. Just cut your losses. Just stop it.
There's a lot of better games you can be playing. Not on this podcast, but there's a lot of better games you can be playing.
Yeah, for sure. There was another comment by another individual saying, I've got the solution to Pork Chopper's issue with controllers getting desynced, the input lag.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, he says to update the software, obviously, unscrew, like I guess he says like these detailed instructions of like taking apart the Joy-Con or some shit. Yeah. He's like, open it up.
The foam? Is that what he's mentioning?
What?
Putting a piece of foam in there?
Oh, no. He's like saying like take a screwdriver and like open it up. He's like got these instructions for it.
Okay.
And then he says something about taking out the battery.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is the last step is to shove both the Joy-Cons up your ass.
Okay, he had me. There is actually a way to fix that problem with the fucking Joy-Cons. You open it up and put a piece of foam in there. I did not expect that shit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, fuck whoever that was.
So, thank you for your tech tip. That was...
Fuck you.
You should actually try that out, maybe.
Yeah, I should.
How do you know? How do you know he's not fucking around?
Oh.
Maybe that actually does help the connectivity.
I already solved my problem. You know how I did that?
Oh.
Spent like $100 getting the fucking Pro Controller. That's how I fixed it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What's been happening with you lately, Pork Chopper?
In terms of gaming?
Yeah.
Just been playing a lot of Call of Duty World War II recently. I stopped playing it all year, and then past few weeks I just really got into it. Been going hard on that shit like every fucking day. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I played the Blackout beta for
How about that?
Black Ops 4. Really good. I think they need to adjust the armor and the health. Mm-hmm. Regular Call of Duty games, you have 100 health. In Black Ops 4, you have 150 plus armor on top of that. So if you've ever seen fucking bullet sponges in this game,
oh my god,
it's hardcore. But
the fucking armor in this game is nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you have armor and somebody's like shooting you like fucking 9 out of 10 times, the bullet's gonna be deflected.
They really need to adjust that. But like the core game that's there though, it's probably the most polished and most complete feeling battle royale experience.
For sure,
it's obviously different from Fortnite, but in terms of the more traditional battle royale like PUBG and those kind of games, it's definitely the best one. Mm-hmm. And I think going forward, now that these AAA developers are sort of getting on this battle royale train, we're going to see a lot more innovation, a lot more different kinds of battle royale, and it's just going to get better from here. I think this is a really great thing. Battlefield's getting in on it too. Fuck Battlefield, I'm not getting it, but I'm glad that they're trying to do that. Mm-hmm. There's been rumors that Red Dead 2 might have a battle royale mode. We'll see, but yeah, I don't know. I think for battle royale, it's going to be pretty crazy going forward.
Mm-hmm. Are you getting the Fortnite Switch? The
mean
Switch packaged with Fortnite?
Yeah, so the Switch that's packaged with the free-to-play game, and then you get $10 worth of credits and shit.
I saw that. 1,000 V-Bucks.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to get that. It's not even colored different. Like, it's just a fucking Switch. Like, what's the fucking point of that?
Oh my god.
Look at this free game. It comes already installed on your Switch.
Yeah.
Okay?
You know what fucked me up worse was the Smash Bros. Switch? And it's like...
fucking... 2 gray lines. 2
gray lines. Literally 2 gray lines.
I can't believe that. You know, it's weird. You look at the Pikachu Eevee ones. Mm-hmm. They actually, I mean, they could have been better, but they look decent. Even the dock has Pikachu and Eevee on it and shit. That's cool. What the fuck happened with Smash Bros? I can't believe that shit.
Yeah, I'm loving the Black Ops 4 beta a lot, or I liked it when it was running. Just 2 issues. One with the audio. I really feel that every time the helicopters come in, Fortunate Son should play. That's a really important...
Yeah, it's
some guy on the intercom should say, "Welcome to Nom-Boys." Yeah. Every time.
Really sets the mood, you know. Yeah. It's gotta... Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
And also, I think they should add footballs.
What the fuck? You know, one thing I noticed about the audio in the beta, so... the sound and the feedback that you get from punching someone is awesome.
Yeah.
It feels like you're really punching
them. How about
them.
that?
The only issue with it is it's so fucking loud. Like,
right?
Holy shit.
Jesus.
Like, I blew my fucking eardrum out the first time I punched somebody. Like, it sounds good, though. It's just, could be quieter.
Mm-hmm. So. I've got a bit of a story at my expense.
Okay.
That is completely unrelated to all this. So I just recently got a new computer. Mm-hmm. And you've seen the trackpad. It's fucky. It's real fucky.
Yeah, it's pretty trash.
I'm not sure why. Maybe I have the fucking settings wrong or something. I don't know. There's a longer story. To sum it up, I don't want to say this person's name because they're an actual artist, but it's essentially an ex-girlfriend of mine who, her life changed very significantly over the years. And to make a long story short, she now draws a furry webcomic. Now, I told you this story, didn't I? Yes. Okay.
I'm wondering what this has to do with trackpads.
We'll get there. Anyway, I don't want to say her name because I don't know if in the future, we're gonna have an awful fan base that's gonna look up this person. I wish no harm upon her. But I do hate furries. I truly fucking hate furries. I can't stand it.
I'm not a fan either. It's pretty weird.
If you are a furry and you're listening to this, do your thing. But I find the culture incredibly cringy and fucking awful.
Yeah, it's perfectly acceptable to just not agree with that. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, so I'm in a bit of a professional writing class, and I'm writing a story, and I decided to write a story about this person who I dated. It's very long. Again, I won't get into it. But essentially through it, I decided to look up her fucking artwork. She gets money on Patreon for it, $80 a month right now. And it's all like fucking awful furry artwork.
Yeah.
And I guess at some point when I was looking through Google Images, my trackpad fucked up. And I somehow saved the link to the Google Images page to my desktop.
What?
Now, that's my best guess. I honestly don't know how the fuck... Because I'm trying to... The thing is, randomly one day, I get an icon on my desktop that says images, and then it's like a link that opens Google Chrome, and I'm wondering, to myself, how the fuck did this get here? Oh, well, I'm doing shit right now. I'm not going to look into it.
Yeah.
That's my best guess as to how it got there.
The trackpad is kind of fucky on your laptop, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So, I guess I just somehow right-clicked it and said save link as, and I don't fucking know. I really don't fucking know. Yeah. Maybe I accidentally fucking highlighted the entire thing and dragged it onto my desktop. I don't know how it fucking got there.
Yeah.
So, the other day, my fucking father gets home from vacation, and he's like, "Hey son, how about I check out that laptop there?" Now, I don't tell Dad about a lot of things that go on in my room. Yeah. I'm sure he just thinks I game. I don't tell him all this. I don't even tell him about this podcast. And he's like, "Hey, how about that 4K display? How about we check out what this baby can do?" So he immediately clicks on the images icon on my desktop. Now, I have no idea what the fuck. Like, at the time, I'm like, images? Like, I don't know what the fuck this leads to. So he clicks it, and of course it opens up Chrome, and all this fucking furry artwork is on the fucking screen for my dad. So immediately I'm like, I'm grabbing my face, and I'm like, I need to make up a good excuse for this. So I'm like, oh yeah, I saved that link so I could like talk to my group with my editing group because I'm writing a story about this person. I like had to like explain to him that my ex-girlfriend became this strange like furry fucking artwork person. A conversation that I never had to wanted to have with my father in any fucking scenario ever. I never wanted to have this conversation, but now I'm forced to in order to like somehow like stop him from thinking that I'm like saving fucking furry images to my computer.
Wow.
And I basically just wanted to put a fucking bullet in my head. And like I don't know, like the fucking story about how she. It's a really strange, long story I'm not going to get into, but I managed to get him off the trail, and hopefully he isn't fucking thinking about that.
So what was his face when he saw it?
I wasn't looking at his face. I immediately X'd out.
Looked at the fucking screen.
It is honestly really hard to talk about it. I'm really playing this off cool. I am experiencing a full body cringe thinking about this shit. Because now I have a fucking family member who thinks, like, I'm just saving...
Your dad probably thinks it's some weird fucking shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Let's fucking get to the worst game ever!
Alright.
Football edition. Pork Chopper, my first game.
Alright, let's hear it.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
Is this a game I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, alright. I'm gonna level with the audience here for a second. If you have no idea what Doki Doki Literature Club is, stop the video right now. Go play it. And you're going to find what looks like a very generic anime dating sim on the surface, but it is so much more. If you have no idea what Doki Doki Literature Club is, don't look it up. Just play it. That is my one... I beg of you to play this game.
The game is free, right?
The game is free. It's 6 hours... 4 hours, around at 4 or 6 hours, depends on how long you take to read it.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. It's a game experience I've never had anywhere else, and I'm going to fucking put a link, an annotation on the video right now, so you can skip ahead because I'm going to get into it, and just I know I prefaced it with this is the worst game ever, but trust me. Just play it if you know nothing about it. With that out of the way, here's why Doki Doki Literature Club is the worst game ever. So this game, I played it. I had no idea what the fuck it was going into it. And it's to sum it up, it is a psychological horror that masquerades as a shitty dating sim. And it is something that creeped the shit out of me because you really do not see it coming. Despite the fact that there is like a warning at the beginning of the game saying like, hey, like maybe don't play it, it contains disturbing content. Like I figured like, oh, maybe this character is like kind of suicidal. Yeah. And then like she just fucking kills herself halfway through the game and then it becomes like a completely different game. One of the characters realizes she's in a video game and like tries to like get your affection by like fucking with the other characters, and it becomes like such a
she like delete their files.
Yeah,
and shit?
And it's real, and like the way you like get rid of her is by deleting her file.
Yeah,
and it's really fucking interesting and fun and creepy, and it grips me like no other fucking game has. And I actually bring this game up because, fun fact, September 22nd was like the 1 year anniversary of that. And coincidentally, the 20-year anniversary of the Bare Naked Ladies single 1 week. It's been...
Oh my fucking God.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You now know that Doki Doki Literature Club was, man, the same day as that.
Jesus.
It's a fantastic game, but the point of the game is completely ruined if you know what the fuck is going to happen. This game depends on the subversion of expectations. It's a game like Undertale. I'm kind of spoiling Undertale, but like whatever, everyone fucking knows about it now, where it's like you think it's like normal, but it like fucks with the save file, and like it becomes a completely different game by the end. And it relies completely on this subversion of expectations so much that if you go into this game knowing anything about it, it loses so much value, so much of, because you're expecting a scary game. I told you about it because I knew I'd never be able to get you to fucking play a anime dating sim.
Yeah.
And I actually told my girlfriend about it before she played it, so she knew it was like a fucked up psychological horror game, and that was one of the worst things I could have done. So if you are like me, and like so many fucking others who will not shut the fuck up about this game, shut the fuck up about this game, man. Like, people need to discover this shit for themselves, and they need to have this fucking amazing experience that will just leave you with something different.
Exactly like Undertale. Because that game was pretty much ruined by its fan base.
Exactly. I don't know. It's less about the fan base and more about people. Like, I actually, at a fucking convention, some chick who I was like talking to was like, "Oh man, have you heard about Doki Doki Literature Club?" And like, I had played it like the week it fucking came out, and like just out of curiosity, I was just like, "No." And she immediately was like, "Oh, well, it's like this fucked up game where like it like tricks you like being like a fucking anime, but it's actually like a psychological horror game, and you completely are fucking doing the opposite of selling this game. Why the fuck would I want to play this game? You just told me the whole fucking point of the game."
See, people should try to sell it as just like a really great dating sim that you just need to play, and try to get you to play it without telling you what's gonna fucking happen. Because that literally destroys the entire point.
I disagree with that, because if you say dating sim, for a lot of people, probably myself included, you're probably going to turn them off. You hear dating sim, what you need to say is it's a fucking gaming experience.
Okay.
Like no other. You need to keep it vague, and you need to promise them that there's something in it if they don't fucking know what they're like getting into.
Yeah.
And that's why it's unfortunately the worst game ever. Because you can't fucking play this game twice. And you can't fucking play this game if you know what's going to happen, because there's no point.
And at this point, that game's spoiled pretty much everywhere. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that sucks.
And it's a huge disappointment for me, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Pork Chopper, what's the worst game ever? On that fucking depressing note.
So.
Man, I want to think about football. All I got to think about is football, and I feel way better.
So, the worst game ever is Call of Duty 4. But, not Call of Duty 4.
Oh.
So, you played Call of Duty 4, right?
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
It's a fucking classic.
Yeah, right? So,
fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of this pod! Your taste in video games has been fucked!
Hold on. There's a point to this.
You are no longer a reliable source for this shit.
No, hold on. So, in Call of Duty 4, you play...
I feel like you're subverting my fucking expectations right now.
I will. Hold on.
You piece of shit.
So, in Con 4, you play Soap, right? Soap McTavish.
But of course.
This character who, he's a rookie. He becomes part of this sort of terrorism task force. You kind of go, like, all around the world trying to thwart, this big, terrorist plot, right? Mm-hmm. So, there's this other game where you play Mint. Okay? And they tell you that you're called Mint because you're sodding fresh, right? Because you're a rookie, just like Soap McTavish. And as Mint, you join this fucking terrorism task force.
Is this the same? Is it called Call of Duty 4? Like, what?
No. It's basically...
Motherfucker, you're teasing me so much, I just want you to fucking get to it!
So... you're mint and you become part of this terrorist task force, and you go all around the world.
Is this Final Fantasy VII?
No, thwarting this terrorist plot, right? And the entire makeup of this game is literally Call of Duty 4. That's why I said COD 4. It's like, obviously the sort of story itself is different, the levels are different, but it plays and feels like you can tell it's just a carbon copy of COD 4. That's exactly what it was. Right down to calling your fucking guy Mint instead of Soap because it's clean and fresh, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the actual game is called SAS, Secure Tomorrow.
Yeah.
In COD 4, you're part of the fucking SAS.
Oh,
it's
fuck
all
you.
the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So this game is basically, think of COD 4. Now think if it was a budget, like, shitty version of COD 4. Remember, this is made by City Interactive before they started releasing better games like Lords of the Fallen and Sniper Ghost Warrior, 2 and 3.
Right.
This is when they were making fucking budget trash that ripped off every big game that there was. So yeah, basically dumb down COD 4, rip off the storyline, fucking garbage, code names for everybody, shit graphics, fucking garbage physics, everything. Like, basically, make
Is the Captain
version.
Price of the game Captain Sale?
You know what? Let me look this up.
Fuck me.
I don't know what his fucking name is. Hold on. Oh, fuck, it doesn't.
Captain 50% off. Is Makarov macaroni?
No, you fuck. Okay, fuck. Well, I can't find their characters anywhere.
Are the terrorists all cyborgs, and are they cyber terrorists?
No, they're just these fucking terrorists.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically like, if you can imagine, like, the shittiest, fucking most garbage rip-off version of COD 4 you can think of. That was this game. And I knew that just by looking at the case and reading the back. I knew what it was. The only reason I bought it is because this game released at $20.
Okay. Well,
And I still felt ripped off.
Yeah, you should.
It, it reminds me of...
It's built on a rip-off.
Yeah. It reminds me, after COD 4, everybody, even Battlefield, their single-player campaigns, they all tried to sort of copy Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. And they all got it fucking wrong. The movement was off. The feel was off. Everything was off. And this game is like the perfect, or sort of most imperfect embodiment of that, because it's just fucking trash. Like, it's... Why don't I just play Call of Duty 4, right?
Blatant ripoff.
As far as like military first-person shooters go, probably, yeah, one of the worst ones I've played in like recent times.
They ever make a sequel?
I highly doubt it.
I have to look into that.
They had other games like Terrorist Takedown and fucking bullshit names like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah.
World of War.
There are games like that on mobile. Yeah.
Black Cops.
Fuck. That
All
would be
right.
a good game.
Park Chopper.
Yes.
We have a serious problem.
Okay. What is it?
Because Final Fantasy 15 is a shit game. You disagree with me on this, but honest to God.
I do disagree, okay.
Honest to God, playing that fucking game was like watching paint dry to me. And I remember playing it, I was in a chair, and I was at a friend's house, and I was falling the fuck asleep.
Okay.
I fucking hate the combat system of that game. I hate fucking holding X to attack and holding square to dodge every attack.
Yeah. Okay.
It feels fucking annoying. It's not annoying, but rather, it's fucking monotonous to me. Even the act of pressing a button feels way better than just fucking holding it down. So I got really fucking bored with the combat system.
Okay.
I will say that the game looks gorgeous. And I'd say nobody can fucking debate that the game looks gorgeous and that the soundtrack is fantastic. Because I've listened to it multiple times. I fucking hate the characters myself, which is... the whole reason I wanted to play it was because I wanted to play like all the Final Fantasies, and I feel like there is a certain level of character development missing from it fundamentally that I know I have to watch fucking hours of other fucking media that was put out in order to be caught up, which is already an issue. I fucking hate that about this game.
Yeah.
I hate the main character. I think he's a whiny bitch, and he does that fucking anime exhale every time he says a fucking line of dialogue, like Gladio.
That's fair.
Like that's him. That verbatim is what he fucking sounds like.
Yeah.
And I hate him as a character. And just playing this fucking game, it felt like the best part of it was somehow the fucking fishing minigame. It felt way more interesting to play this fucking fishing minigame.
That actually spawned its own VR game.
I know. And I'm like, well, no shit, because like the fucking combat is so fucking boring. It like almost put me to sleep.
I can agree with that. The combat looked really cool.
But
the problem is they try to make it so that you're actually doing all these crazy things like you'd see in an anime, and you're actually taking part in it. But when you're just pressing the button,
what you're actually doing isn't. It doesn't feel like what is happening on screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've seen like later gameplay, and it just devolves into like finding the spot where you can like hang on to like a building and then do a fucking I forget what it's called, like a stealth thing.
Yeah. Like
constantly doing like overhead like dashes onto enemies. It seems incredibly repetitive at that point. There, from what I've seen, there's like a fucking win button on it, like with the fucking summons, where it's like, oh hey, you're like almost dead. Well, hit the summon and they'll fucking beat the battle for you.
Oh, the one thing about the summons though is I actually don't like the way they work in the game. Not because they're not cool, because they are. And like,
it example, looks visually stunning.
If you get, I think it's Shiva, the ice one. When you use her, the entire world gets frozen for a few minutes. Like, it's fucking sweet when you see it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But you don't choose when you can use them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in every battle. It's like randomly it'll pop up like R2 or L2, and then you press it, and then they fucking kill everybody. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I remember Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, which had a great summon system. You could do it whenever you fucking wanted.
Right.
That was the point of summons.
Yeah.
They were a tool, not this fucking Holy Mary bullshit that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's an issue, of course. And it feels like there's points taken out of the game that feel like, oh, hey, like, where the fuck did Gladio go? Oh, find out in later DLC.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Happens a lot. Happens at, like, one of the most critical fucking parts, where a character loses their eyesight in this big fucking battle that you don't get to see. Yeah. Noctis just fucking blanks out, and it's like, oh, what the fuck happened?
I didn't get that far in the game.
But Pork Chopper, Final Fantasy 15 is not the worst game ever. Final Fantasy 15 is a football compared to the actual worst game ever, which is Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. There's a fucking subversion of your expectations, because everything that I've just said that is like even a little bit like saying that this game is okay or like it looks visually stunning is fucking gone. It's fucking gone, motherfuckers.
That one's, I think, it's just the campaign, and it's like mini sort of versions of all the missions and everything, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no fucking overworld. It looks like fucking ass. Here's something that pissed me off, because I'm like, okay, I hate the gameplay, but like maybe this fucking story, maybe there's something about it, maybe I'm missing something, maybe these characters have like an interesting like bit of character development. Noctis kind of does near the end, I'll admit that, but like up until then, he's a whiny bitch, and I fucking... The conversations they have are just like completely fucking... They're excuses for character development, but it's like you're fucking watching a car driving while they talk.
Things that are like totally irrelevant too. It's not real character development.
Point is, the dialogue and like the motion capture and the beautiful way the characters are portrayed on like a PS4 or an Xbox or fucking whatever system you're playing as is completely gone, and instead are these little fucking soulless husks of little miniatures that they make the same movements, but they couldn't even be fucked to have their fucking lips move when they talk.
That's so fucking lazy.
In giant fucking bits, and you're watching like giant fucking bits of cutscenes, The characters they're just looking at each other and voices come out.
Like basically fucking action figures.
Yeah, it's like watching fucking action figures like look at each other while a kid like does the fucking voices. It's ridiculous. Fucking Final Fantasy IV for the DS had those similar looking fucking character models, but at least they could have bothered to. I'm gonna fucking murder this fly, bro. But they fucking every time there was a cutscene, they made their lips flap. It's not that fucking hard, guys. It can get even a little bit confusing when somebody sounds a little bit like another character, and it's like, well, fuck, I don't know who the fuck's talking.
Yeah.
You're both just staring at each other. It's bullshit. Of course, they'll never have DLC, so you'll never understand what the fuck happened to all the other characters if you want to actually get the full story. Looks like ass. It just does. And the combat is, if you thought holding a button was bad, now you get just tapping on an enemy and watching your fucking guy do a fucking combo. Like, It got even fucking worse. There's nothing enjoyable to get out of this fucking thing. It just feels like a money pit. I spent $28 fucking dollars on an app. And I'm like, it's rated highly on the store. I want to get through Final Fantasy 15. I want to get through the story. And it's just not fucking worth it. And the reason this is a problem, the reason I bring this up, is because they're fucking taking this highway robbery, this fucking $28 fuckfest of these soulless husks and this reused dialogue, and they're taking it and they're pitching it as a fucking full game for the Switch
and PS4 and Xbox One.
Ridiculous.
I actually couldn't believe that because they're selling that on the system where you have the actual game.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you need this?
You could probably buy.
You can get Final Fantasy 15 on sale for cheaper than the Pocket Edition.
Unfucking-doubtedly. There's no reason to play this.
Yeah.
It's a shittier version of an already shitty game, which, I mean, maybe I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'd actually end up liking it if I actually fucking played it. But everything that makes it good is stripped out. Fuck, they don't even have fucking Florence and the Machine's cover of Stand By Me in it. They couldn't even be fucked to grab that. Got most other... and there's actual, like, bad glitches in the fucking game.
Yeah, of course.
I've got an actual video that I have on my Twitter where just randomly, despite having the dialogue be English, they'll just randomly start talking in German.
Du scheinst weniger nervös als früher.
Vielleicht verberg ich's nur besser als damals.
Gut möglich.
Hey, alles okay, Not?
Ja, wieso?
Hast ja doch ein weiches Herz, Großer.
Einer muss ja auf euch aufpassen.
What the fuck?
They'll just randomly start talking in German during battle, and it's like they'll be having full, like, post-battle conversations in German without subtitles, of course. So I'm like, well, fuck. Now I can't even fucking understand what the story is because they're all speaking in German.
What the fuck?
Wow. And like, it intrigued me because I'm like, okay, when I saw the game, it looks like a Diablo. It's like top down, but
yeah,
it's a fucking facade for just watching this character do shitty combos.
You want to know what's interesting about that game coming to Switch is, so I remember, I think a year ago or something like that, Square Enix said they wanted to bring Final Fantasy 15 to the Switch, and they were working really hard to make it happen, right? And I remember some people joked around and were like, lol, the Switch is going to get the fucking Pocket Edition, and everybody laughed it off as a joke, because that would be fucking stupid, right? Like, just dumb down the graphics on the main game. And then that's actually what fucking happened.
Those fuckers.
I can't believe that shit.
Yeah.
And $30 too. You're missing like 75% of the game, and they couldn't charge 25% of the price.
It hurts, man.
Yeah,
it hurt my wallet.
Just get used to that.
Bent over and got fucked in the wallet by Square Enix, man.
So how many Square Enix games have you had on this podcast now? It seems like you should stop buying Square games.
Honest to God, we're gonna just keep going down the line until I finally hate Opera Omnia and call it the worst game ever, because I love it right now.
Yeah.
Opera Omnia, honest to God, I love that fucking game. It's part of the reason why I've gone back and played these Final Fantasy games, because I see these characters and I'm like, fuck it, I want a decent story. I'm gonna try them out. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Fuck, I know Final Fantasy 15 is overrated, but fuck it, I'll play it. But just everything they fucking make nowadays, just a little bit under the surface, there's just so much bullshit and fucking...
A lot of the problem with Final Fantasy 15 was, so it started as Versus 13, and Tetsuya Nomura, he really wanted to have that overworld, but he didn't want it to be like the sort of miniature, like toy scale, like in the old games. He wanted like a big open world, and that open world, it really limits what you can do, and I feel like the game suffered because they were trying to do too much. And because of that, especially since the fact that the game took so long to come out, because they kept getting pulled off to work on the 13 trilogy for fuck knows why, and then everybody had to stop what they were doing to remake Final Fantasy 14 in 1 year, right? And so when they finally got around to it, it was like, well, fuck, this is taking so long. Fucking just throw this shit together. We need to get this thing out the door, and the game really suffered.
Well, poor Chopper, I didn't bring in Final Fantasy 15, but I will someday.
You did? You just fucking did.
I brought in Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 15 is going to be a whole other story when I fucking get through that shit.
Just like Call of Duty, not Call of Duty?
Yeah, but this is like... No, this is like bringing in Call of Duty Declassified and then bringing in Call of Duty fucking Black Ops.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah.
So, someday, people, someday I will give my final thoughts on that fucking game. But just as an aside, like, we go on... We don't mind if you fucking tab off and like play some games. By all means, fucking play Dark Souls while you're listening to us. Yeah. Play fucking Bloodborne. I listen to podcasts all the time while doing shit. I don't know why the fuck I need to bring this up, but you know, don't feel like we need to have your undivided attention. Well, we do actually. Fuck all that. You should be listening to just us. Fuck everything else in your life. Pork Chopper. What is the worst game ever?
Okay, so back in...
Quite possibly the opposite of football.
So back in 2011, there was this game coming out called Brink. Do you know what this game is?
Oh, I do know what this game is.
So,
I've never actually played it, but it looked really cool.
So I paid full price and I bought this. I actually pre-ordered this game for PC. Okay, so if you don't know what Brink is, imagine this. Take the fluid movement and the parkour of something like Mirror's Edge, but then put it in a shooter, like a straight-up shooter, like Call of Duty or something like that. And so imagine all these maps where it's built for stuff like parkour, but you sort of have classes, right? Like you choose the size of your character, small, medium, or large. The large ones are really slow, but they can take a lot of damage. These small characters are really fast. Now, they're very fragile. You can die really quickly, but they're the ones that could do...
Crazy parkour shit.
Yeah, the medium-sized characters could do a little bit, but the smaller ones, they could like jump to higher ledges and do all this really crazy shit. It was supposed to be, a really fun-to-play sort of style of game, right? It sounded awesome. And then they had this thing where they wanted to bring... narrative, like a legit narrative, into a multiplayer game. So that sounded really great, right? There's so much potential here. A lot of people were really looking forward to it. And then the game came out. Okay? Now, that narrative, imagine, at Call of Duty, when the match starts and you hear a guy give you like a line of dialogue, like, get out there, soldier, and fucking kill those guys. Imagine that, but they draw out that line, like that basic sentiment for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, yeah, we're going to this place. We got to kill all these people. Don't fucking die. That's basically it. And then
for like 2 minutes?
Yeah. And then when the match is over, if you succeed, like, good fucking job, guys. You did a great job, blah, blah, blah. Or if you die and you fail, they're like, oh, you fucking losers. You guys, you got to fucking regroup and fix this shit because you guys fucked up.
Lambasting you for fucking minutes on end for losing a game.
That's the whole story. That's the narrative for this game. That's it. There's no, like, they have, like, this idea of, the Ark, this futuristic city, and all these fucking things, all these two factions fighting against each other in this utopian world, and this fucking war is going on. That's the extent of the story. Fucking, like, 2 or 3 minute cutscenes before and after a match, and that's it. There's no, like, campaign. The narrative in the multiplayer is fucking horse shit. It's got no more story than Call of Duty's multiplayer. And,
Yikes.
Yeah. And then, like, the parkour system was really cool, but you could tell, like, the maps weren't that well designed for it, which is unfortunate. The system, it was called the Smart System, it was really great, but it's like they didn't actually want to go into these maps and perfectly design it with all these different routes and stuff. It would just be like, oh, well, there's a box here. You can use this box to jump up to this window or some shit. It's like, okay, that's not what you sold me on.
So instead of, like, a sprawling map with, like, different interesting ways for, like, different sized characters, it was just like,
it was just little things. And it's like, that's not what I wanted, right? Like, if you played something like Mirror's Edge and you had them, like, you're basically likening this game to something like Mirror's Edge in multiplayer, you were expecting some really cool shit, and that's not what you got. And on top of that, I believe on all platforms, I only played on PC. When this game came out, it was fucking broken. So the performance was horseshit, which sucked because when this game came out, I had a good computer and I couldn't play it. It was really unoptimized, tons of bugs and glitches, and the game, I believe at the time, I don't think it had dedicated servers. You would host a game and the fucking lag was atrocious. So not only did you have shit parkour, shit narrative, and a fucking game that ran like ass, you couldn't kill people because your fucking bullets weren't registering. It was just a really bad experience all around. Like, they totally fucked up, and it's annoying because there was so much potential. And then after this game, I think they came out with some other game that was supposed to, be like the better version of Brink. I'm pretty sure that game died. So it doesn't, like, there's no fucking, it just pisses me off because there's so much potential with this kind of idea, and they fucked it up.
oh, God, a lot of games I fucking love or, like, support day one or pre-order nowadays always seem to have these fucking glitches, I find.
Yeah.
Fucking when Strafe came out, I backed on fucking Kickstarter. I made a whole fucking 10-minute video about the fucking ridiculous glitches that were there for day one.
Yep.
Banner Saga 3. I love that game. Love the story of the fucking Banner Saga games. And, like, when you're going in between battles, you're, like, going across the countryside, and, like, you see these, like, fucking gorgeous hand-painted vistas, and, like, all these, like, really, like, intricate, interesting looking, like, stones and shit, and, like, temples and stuff. And, like, the most interesting, like, decrepit part of, like, Banner Saga 3, there's just, like, this glitch where, like, fucking lines go across your screen. And I, like, tweeted to them, and they said they were working on it, but fuck, man. I hate glitches. Yeah. I fucking hate them. They ruin perfectly great games. It's a fucking smear on a perfectly great game, but I'm sure Brink wasn't.
What makes it worse, too, though, is, so this was a multiplayer game, and the developers, Splash Damage, they're the ones that made Wolfenstein Enemy Territory and Enemy Territory Quake Wars, which were some really great multiplayer games from back in the day. So there was so much potential here, and the talent was there, and they just totally fucked it up.
Pork Chopper, we got any news?
So yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, a tweet came out. Fuck me. I can't remember exactly who said this. But basically what they said was they have some kind of inside knowledge about VR. And what they said was, if you're even remotely interested in VR, keep your eyes and ears open, because roughly in a week, they said VR is about to have its Super Mario 64 moment. And that's definitely got me interested, because I remember Super Mario 64, what it did for platformers and 3D platformers and just gaming in general. That was sort of like where the game changed, right? Like it had these ripple effects that we still see today.
I don't know, man. Super Mario 64 was great, but it's nothing compared to the real thing, Bubsy 3D.
Fuck off. Bubsy was fucking trash.
Bubsy 3D revolutionized.
Yeah. Didn't they came out with a new Bubsy game, didn't they?
It lowered the bar for what games could...
It fucking threw the bar out the window.
Look, this isn't a foreshadowing or anything. It's not like we're going to bring in Bubsy at any point in time, but...
It's just a trash game.
Oh my god. That game is...
Why the fuck did they even make a new one? I couldn't believe that shit.
Can you, like, think about all the games that have had... that were standalone and were amazing. Like, games like The World Ends With You and, like, other fantastic games that have never gotten sequels. Yeah. And yet, in this day and age, we get a fucking Bubsy sequel that no
one asked for.
We need to bring this up some other day. We're already fucking 50 minutes in. I don't know. Whenever I hear something is going to be like something, I feel like it's incredibly overhyped. Like...
The thing about VR though is it hasn't had that moment yet. Like there's been a lot of really cool ideas and games that have happened, but there hasn't been that one game that just sets the bar for VR and says, you know, this is what VR games can do and this is what they should be. Right. We haven't had it yet, so I don't know. Maybe this will be disappointing, but like there's a lot of potential here. So.
And that's why the new game is going to be Football Simulator VR.
This fucking guy with your football.
It's going to be fucking fantastic. I might actually buy an Oculus Rift for that.
Jesus Christ.
Or a fucking PlayStation 5 or a...
PlayStation VR?
PlayStation... Yeah, whatever. The PlayStation Vibrator or whatever the fuck they've got for the VR experience.
HTC, you fuck.
Alright. This has been the worst game ever. Get to my Twitter. Fucking vote on what you think the worst game ever is. Leave a comment, please. It's a fucking joy to read them.
Absolutely.
And this has been Kaznarius.
And the Pork Chopper.
Signing off.